Very good morning to all of you, and thanks very much for joining us this Saturday morning. We're very excited to have so many registrations and attendees tuning in. This, of course, is a very interesting topic at the moment. So as part of Your Story Academy and the Education Initiative, we're very excited to be hosting this webinar on the code of epic sales and Sales Sutra. This will be conducted by Amit Agarwal. He is, of course, the Senior VP of Sales and Business Development at Manthan Systems. So just to give you a brief introduction to Amit, he likes to call himself a salespreneur and believes that sales, in a sense, is indeed a social entrepreneurship, because every sale is an opportunity to generate a livelihood, create customer value, as well as build wealth for the economy. Now, Amit has vast years of experience, about 23 years of sales experience across countries and, across bootstrap as well as Series A, B, C, and D funded startups. So a lot of credibility there. He has also authored The Ultimate Sales Accelerator. That's a good book to get your hands on if you have the time now. And he also runs the portal salespreneur.co. So do check that out as well. Now today, of course, we do know that the current times are definitely challenging as professional, but on the flip side, it can also be viewed as an opportunity in sales. That's something that Amit, of course, will guide us through. He will take us through how some powerful and easy tools and methods can be implemented by way of some very simple basic sutras or principles for becoming trusted advisor and also increasing your sales effectiveness. Well, with that said, I'll just quickly run all of you through the code of conduct so that all of us can have a good session with a lot of takeaways. We will ensure that all your question and answers will be answered, but in the meanwhile, we will keep your video and audio features disabled or in mute so that everyone's presentation. There will be a break of about 2 to 5 minutes in the middle of some sessions, and if there are relevant questions, we can see if Amit wants to take them up. Otherwise, we'll take all the questions and answers at the end of the session. So don't worry about that. We will also share the presentation slides with all of you participants. And that, of course, will help us maintain decorum as well, so that we can all focus on the session. With that said, over to you, Amit, to take it forward.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you very much. Welcome to everybody. Just wanted to check if my voice is audible. If you could use the Q&A window and type Y or N, please. Is my voice audible? Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Also, Amit, if you would like, you can switch on your video if you're comfortable with that.
No, actually, I'll go ahead with this. No problem.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so let's start with the question, because this is the code of epic sales. So let's reflect on this question. What does the word epic mean? So when you hear the word epic, following might happen. Ramayana might come in your mind, Mahabharata might come in your mind, or maybe David and Goliath story might come in your mind. Now, what is common to all of them? What is common is that they are memorable. Now, the question is, why are they memorable? Because they were very difficult and they created a milestone. So epic is equal to improbable plus milestone, and that makes it memorable. Now, in context of life also, like if you remember 1983 World Cup victory, Cricket World Cup victory of India over West Indies, that is epic because it was memorable. Why? Because improbable and created a milestone. Now, you may wonder what is the meaning of epic in terms of sales. So let's look at some examples there. Let's say a startup, who doesn't have office in any of the countries, and yet sitting out from India without having offices or physical sales force, they are able to close deals, enterprise deals without being traveling to those countries. That is epic, correct? A startup which comes into unprecedented competition, goes to clients which have all the softwares, yet they are able to create value for the client and sign that contract. That is epic. So again, the word epic is relevant both in life as well as in business, as well as in sales. With this said, now let's reflect on what sutras can help us in these epic sales. So with that, I would request Shivani to please do this poll. What does relationship mean to you in sales? Shivani.
I hope you can all see the poll on your screens. Please do participate and vote.
Okay, thank you very much, Shivani. It is nice to see that 90%, 4% is on the first category, which is know your prospects well. The 90% is on the second category, customer value, and 6% is about having coffee, lunch, dinner with the clients. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's move on. So, why did I ask that question? Because the concept of, the relationship in sales is misunderstood. Now, there is a wonderful research which has been done, by Sales Executive Council, you can see, which actually found out that relationship seller is the lowest performer. Right? You can see they have identified 5 categories of sales: relationship builder, problem solver, hard worker, lone wolf, and challenger. Right? And they have said the relationship builder is the lowest performer. Now, you look at the definition of relationship builder, which is given here, which is in simple words similar to wining, dining, being nice to people, that, which from our results, if you see the results which were 4% and 6%, they fall in this category. But the real results, which is that creating customer value, and because of creating customer value, you are becoming a trusted advisor, that falls in this category, which they call it as the challenger, which is all the person who is very knowledgeable, who understands customer business, loves to debate. Now, this point might be little bit, gray, so let's take the positive points out of it. But the main message from this is that the normal relationship where people think that wining, dining, socializing, that doesn't work anymore, because this is a buyer-centric word. Earlier, it was a seller-centric word. And I'm happy to see that the poll which we did, 90% of you have voted for the same. So the key is that we have to move from here to here. Now, let's look at the other. So why is trusted advisor important in current times? Shivani talked about it briefly. Let's look into detail. So this is a very provocative research which was done in 2014 by Forrester, if you see, which is called Death of a B2B Salesman, where Forrester predicted that 1 million B2B sales jobs would be lost in US only by 2020. Now, of course, Forrester didn't knew that COVID-19 is coming and all, so, and what it did is that to understand this, it divided it into 4 quadrants. So on the x-axis, you have complexity of the buyer dynamic. And on the y-axis, you have complexity of product and service. Right? So with this low, high, and you have 4 quadrants. Okay? And it says that when each one of us who are in this call, we can reflect what kind of product are we selling. Is our complexity of buyer dynamic high? Is the complexity of product service high? Based on that, first we have to put in which quadrant we are. Okay? So what Forrester said is that when the complexity of buyer dynamic becomes high and the complexity of product becomes high, you need people where buyer can say, enlighten me. Enlighten me. This is we were talking about customer value, correct, earlier. So this is about enlighten me. So much knowledge, so much insights you are giving me that the buyer is saying, please enlighten me. And the term which they are using is consultant. Again, consultant is a word which can be seen in many ways. My suggestion is look at this word enlighten me. The other interesting point is that all these other 3 jobs, this one, you see the jobs are decreasing, -25, -33, -15. But this one, consultants, or if I have to say, people who enlighten others, correct? In this job profile, it is increasing. So when we talk about trusted advisor, we have to move to this space. Correct? Now, are you with me till now? Just please type yes or no. Are you with me till now? Okay. Yes. Thank you. So basically, I think somebody said repeat once more. So very simply put, when I show you the next slide, it will be very clear. Okay. Please look at this slide. This says which symbol role represents a sales owner handling complex sale environment. So there are three options: specialist doctor, teacher, warrior. Now you don't have a poll for this. You will, what I suggest is you type D if you choose doctor, you type T if you choose teacher, you type W if you choose warrior, correct? Just based on what we have discussed till now, what role, if you have to pick one symbol for a sales owner handling complex sales environment, which one would you choose? Just write D, T or W. Okay, so I see a lot of people have typed D, some have typed T, and some have typed warrior. You know, thank you. So why, if you have to ask me, I mean, all three are the traits which are needed. But if you have to ask me one trait which is the most important, which is specialist doctor. Why? The doctor has two qualities, specialist doctor, that person specializes in one area. So he's a subject matter in one area. If you go to an eye doctor, he or she will have depth of knowledge in that area because specialization in ophthalmology. Similarly, if you go to, orthodontist, these are specialization. Knowledge level is very deep. Okay. Similarly, the other thing is most of the doctors who are good, you will see that they are extraordinary communicators. If they don't know the patient, the moment the patient goes, they will put them to ease. They will build their rapport, correct? Which is not the quality in others. Warrior is more concentrated with action. Teacher is concentrated in giving the knowledge, correct? Whereas this is the only place where deep subject matter expertise, solutions to the problems, which is unknown needs. Suppose a person goes for, I have fever, but the person says, you don't have fever, you have some other thing also. So that is the unknown need which doctor has unearthed, correct? Similarly, he is an extraordinary communicator. So remember this, that in complex environment, we can use the word consultant, we can use the word challenger. The easiest symbol which I have found is specialist doctor because it symbolizes two things: subject matter expertise in one area and extraordinary communication. This kind of thing is required. One of the specialist doctors, if I have to share with you, was Steve Jobs. He had deep knowledge in his subject area and he was extraordinary communicator. Therefore, he was one of the best sales guys ever. With this, let's move to, I hope this is clear now. This was just to give you a view on, on the trusted advisor and why this is important, because a lot of other views are prevalent. Whereas now it is time to move to this. So now let's move to the three sutras which we will be covering here. The first sutra is metaphor, become a persuasion powerhouse by choosing two words. The second is magic of one thing in sales, do more sales by doing less, and most few none. Perhaps the most fastest way to become a trusted advisor. So let's go to metaphor. So aren't we all using metaphors all the time? If you see the example, you are my sunshine. So a lover is telling his or her lover, you are my sunshine. Correct? Mother is telling her two kids, don't fight like cats and dogs. And let's crush it, guys. This one is quite famous, correct? Let's crush it, guys. Who says let's crush it, guys? Can you guys please respond? Where have you heard? Who has said this? Where do you hear it from? From whom do you hear it from? Let's crush it, guys. Can you respond in the Q&A, please? Bosses. Yes. Friends, bosses. Yes. Sales heads. Yes. Yes. Boss. Thanks, Neela. Abhishek. Coach. Yes. So, this is a quite common where, bosses, CEOs, or especially the people who are inspiring us, sales head, crush it, guys. What are you crushing? Actually, have you ever thought of it? It's a metaphor, correct? You're crushing, a rock. Don't fight like cats and dogs. The cats and dog is the symbol. You are my sunshine. Sunshine is a symbol. So if you look at it, just by making this one sentence, lot of things are getting communicated. Now let's look at the definition of metaphor, which will make it much simpler. A metaphor is a figure of speech that equates two dissimilar things for the sake of comparison or symbolism. You have to remember only these words: two dissimilar things, symbolism. Two dissimilar things, symbolism. Correct. Now, if we go back, you will see sunshine, love, fight, cats and dogs, crush. And what are you crushing? Your goals. Goals are compared, crushing the goals is compared to crushing a rock. Correct. So this is the, now let's look at some other examples of metaphor. So even in politics, President Reagan in 1981 said, to highlight the enormity of $1 trillion debt in simple words, he said $1 trillion would be a stack of $1,000 bills 67 miles high. You see what he has done just by mentioning this simple statement. You see two dissimilar objects, $1 trillion, 67 mile high. These are getting compared. Now let's look at other example. We are using metaphors all the time. How can we use Amitabh Bachchan or Warren Buffett as a metaphor? Can you please type? How can we use Amitabh Bachchan or Warren Buffett as a metaphor, please? Can we type? So these are symbols. Yeah. How can we use Amitabh Bachchan or Warren Buffett as a metaphor? Legends. Yeah. Achievers. Yes. Yes. I would request you to type, because when you share whatever you have, it goes deep. Doesn't matter whether it is right or wrong. We are all learning here. Yeah. Yes. Great decision maker. Legends. Great. Yes. Profile like Buffett. Thank you. Thank you. So basically, a lot of times one is the age, where longevity is one quality they have. The success which they have. They are legends in their own space. They are at the beyond at the age of 70. Also, they are performing, and they are performing very well. So sometimes I use this sentence: are you Amitabh Bachchan of your craft? Correct? Like in one of the client situation, the client was asking my team to do something which we were not very good at. So my team mentioned to them, but the client didn't listen properly, or my team failed to communicate. So then what happened is, in one of the review meetings when I went, I asked the client, Mr. So-and-so, you would like your providers to be Amitabh Bachchan of your craft, correct? We are Amitabh Bachchan of website personalization. For data enrichment, we are just newcomers in the film industry. So I think using that simple metaphor of Amitabh Bachchan, correct? That thing was understood very easily by the client, and he never asked that particular thing to my team again. I hope you are understanding the power of metaphor. We will continue with some more examples. Yeah. So is metaphor a sign of genius? Now, doesn't matter what I say or what you think, but what does matter is what Aristotle believes. Great Aristotle thinks about. So you can read it. The greatest thing by far is to be a master of metaphor. It is the one thing that cannot be learned from others. And it is also a sign of genius, since a good metaphor implies an intuitive perception of the similarity in the dissimilar. So this is using metaphor is such an important skill. We all think that storytelling is important, correct? Do you guys think storytelling is important in sales and in life? Yes or no? Please type yes or no based on your, is storytelling important in life or in life and in sales? Yes, thank you. So metaphor, just think about it. Metaphor are the shortest visual stories. The moment I say, don't fight like cats and dogs, or if I say you are a specialist doctor, or you are Amitabh Bachchan of your craft, suddenly a visual comes in your mind and a story is created. Metaphor are the shortest form and the most visual stories. Therefore, they are so powerful. And therefore, Mr. Aristotle said that a person who uses metaphor is a genius. So with this, let us look at how it can be created easily. So, in my book, I have mentioned this. So 3-step process, which is take any situation, step 1, then choose the point of comparison, correct? And then connect using it's like or is like. Take a situation, choose the point of comparison. These two are very simple. And then connect using it's like or is like. So let's take some examples. So this is the situation. So I wanted to, in one of the LinkedIn posts, I wanted to mention how difficult and it is to do business in startups. So it is both difficult and rewarding to win clients in startups when compared to large companies. That is the situation. I have worked first 12 years in large companies. Last 10 years, I'm working in startups, bootstrap, Series A, B, C, D. So I know how difficult and rewarding it is. But I wanted to communicate it easily. So what did I do? See, step 1, step 2, step 3. So I'll give the LinkedIn post. You please read it. Take 30 seconds. Please read it. Then I'll ask you a question. Please read it. Okay. So if I may ask you, what metaphor, what comparison symbols were used here? So this is the live example. Situation is this. You can see the word is like. Remember, this is the situation. What comparison symbols were used? Can you please mention in the Q&A? Can you mention the comparison symbol in the Q&A, please? In this example. Yes. Swinging pitches. Yes. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. There is one more metaphor apart from the swinging pitches. Virat Kohli. Yes. So sometimes, thank you very much. You can get two metaphors. So you can see, are you getting the power of this? Rather than giving logic about things and all, by just using these pitches and metaphor and Virat Kohli, the communication has become simple. Correct. So let's look at the other example. A client is unhappy with its current software because it is overpriced and difficult to implement. So this is again a true situation. I met somebody in Mumbai, and I knew that they have a very good company with whom they are working. And the moment I met them, he said something. This was not the metaphor I used. I asked them a question, Mr. So-and-so, I understand you are working with this company, which is a great company. How has been your experience in working with them? And you see the answer. This is the answer. Exactly, Amit, it is like driving a Ferrari in the SV roads of Mumbai. I have made it narrow lanes because I present in different regions. But exact word was, Amit, it's like driving a Ferrari in SV road of Mumbai. Correct. This was mentioned by a client. So when you hear this sentence, what happens to you? You will see that there is the implementation has not happened. The price was very high. Correct. It is just sitting there, not moving. So just by beginning of the meeting, we were able to find out that the client was unhappy and needed help, rather than doing so much Q&A and all of that. So I hope you are recognizing this. Let us go to the third example. This is an exercise for you. So you will have to type it in the Q&A. The situation is, again, everything what I am presenting. So there is a story and there is an experience. The difference between a story and experience is, story can be concocted. Experience is always the truth. So whatever you will see in this presentation, everything is an experience because everything is truth. Okay. So you are meeting a client in Middle East. This was in Kuwait, I was meeting. The client was satisfied with the quality of software, but feels the software is overpriced. Imagine you are sitting in that room with sheikhs around, correct? Of course, some Indians also around, and then this is the gesture or you are getting. Now, what will you do? Create a metaphor using it's like, Please just participate. Doesn't matter whether it is right or wrong. Please go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, please type here. It's like drinking a coffee at Starbucks, okay? It's like rupee versus dinar, okay? What else? Ganesh, you are on a roll. It's like drinking, satisfied, a good software is like dates, okay? because Rolls-Royce at the price of Hyundai. Oh, very nice, Brijesh. So you are very close, Brijesh. So this is the answer which I gave. Our software is like Mercedes-Benz at the price of Toyota Corolla. So you can see what will happen, when you are using this kind of language. Suddenly the sheikh started smiling and the whole environment was calmed down. Correct? So are you getting the power of this simple technique? These two words. Please type yes or no. Okay, thank you. So this is the post-webinar exercise for you on Metaphor Sutra. For your top 3 objections in sales, please use metaphor for objection handling. This you can do post the webinar, okay? For your top 3 objections in sales. Yeah. So now let's go to the second poll. Please go ahead, Shivani, with the second poll. Please give around 30 to 45 seconds. Yeah. And then close the poll. Yeah, go ahead, please. So the poll results are: storytelling is 35, SME is 26, 8%, and sales productivity 31%. So it's very interesting. See, when we talk about storytelling, we have just covered, the metaphors, which is the easiest form of creating stories. We have covered. Of course, there is a masterclass also later, which will cover storytelling in details. But the metaphor, according to me, is the easiest way of storytelling. Sometimes we overrate certain things, storytelling. It is quite simple if we just start using metaphors. And then, the sales productivity, we will just talk about it in our second sutra. If you ask me, what is I would have chosen, the answer would be public speaking. You know why? Because public speaking is one skill which, if you develop public speaking, you have to be a storyteller. Otherwise, you can't be a good public speaker. Correct. Also, you need to be a subject matter expert, because you can't be authentic as a public speaker if you are not a subject matter expert. And sales productivity, meaning you have to pick up areas which will gel more with the audience. So if you have 15 minutes, you have to speak in 15 minutes. If you have 2 hours, you have 2 hours. So this is a very important skill, public speaking. Of course, since it may not be directly easily possible to practice, therefore storytelling and the productivity can be a good way to start with. So with this, let's go to the sales sutra, which is the magic of one thing in sales. You will notice even in my book, the word is written as one surprisingly powerful strategy to create epic sales in business and in life. And this is inspired by one thing. So let's look at what is the one thing. So Pareto principle. Do you guys know what Pareto principle is? If yes, can some of you just quickly write what a Pareto principle is in the Q&A section, please? What is 80-20? Yes. Okay. Shivani, if it is possible to clear these Q&As, so that because it becomes difficult for me to scroll. If it is possible, please check. If not,
yeah, sure. I'll do that in the back end.
Okay, yeah. 80-20. Correct. Okay. So yeah, 80-20 rule is basically, it says that 20% of effort give 80% results. What is the meaning of it? If you look at, they say 20% of your customers give 80% of your revenue. Correct. 20% of sales owners give 80% of order booking. 20% of movies give 80% of box office business. Correct. 20% of batsmen score 80% of runs. It is actually such a truth that it is almost divine. It has not got a divine law, but if you look at it, you will be surprised to see that everything is 20-80. Right? So what the one thing did is, it says that you have to further apply Pareto principle till you get the one thing. So let me take an example. So suppose your CEO ask you, or a board member ask you to find 100 things which can improve sales. Okay. Now you and your team find out 100 things. Then you say, okay, let me apply Pareto principle on it. So 20 percent of 100 is 20. So you will find 20 things which will be more effective, correct, in driving sales improvement. Now you will apply, in order to get to your one thing, you will apply 20 Pareto principle again on that 20. So you will get 4. Then you will apply Pareto principle again on that 4. You will get 0.8 or 1. That is the one thing. Applying Pareto principle until you get one thing. Or in the other words, this is inspired from the book called The One Thing, which is, the entire book is based on this question. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? Are you clear with the concept of one thing? I will give you more example before I proceed further. It is a profound principle. It is an absolutely life-changing principle. I will share you my experience as well. Are you clear right now with it? Please type yes or no. Yeah, Shivani, you can please clear that. Yeah, because it's difficult for me to check the poll, read the. Okay, I see Kamal has said yes. What about others? Are you clear on the one thing principle? I mean, I will be explaining more. Could you please type Y or N? Okay. Thank you. So now let me share an example. The question that changed my life on December 28, 2017. So what was the situation? December 28, 2017 is the situation when we are doing our New Year resolutions, correct? Isn't it? Now, it was 2017 and my brain was working. Okay, what I have to do? I have to do meditation. Oh, I have to do exercise. Oh, I have to restart reading books. Oh, I have to start writing. I have to spend time with kids. I have to wake up early. I have to, come home early. I have to eat food early. So many things were coming. But then I thought, this has been coming from ages. So every year I think about so many things, I do nothing. So I was regularly irregular. If you have to use that word, regularly irregular. Which every year regularly think about what needs to change, and then be very irregular about execution. So at that point of time, I was reading this book, and then that I use this to create this question. What is the one habit I can develop in 2018 such that by developing it, everything else would be easier or unnecessary? I will give you a pause. You can read this question. This is a very powerful question. The structure of this question is very powerful. It has changed my life and it has changed the life of several people. So when I asked this question, the answer came quickly. Join 5 a.m. club. Join the 5 a.m. club. That was the answer I got. And what happened when I joined 5 a.m. club? When I woke up at 5 a.m. first day, January 2nd, 2018, I remember the day. It was cold, even in Bangalore. And my mind said, body said, I am tired, don't wake up. Mind said, Arey boss, you have agreed only on one thing, na? At least address that. So I woke up with lot of pain in my body, but mind was strong, one thing. When I woke up, I came out, everybody was sleeping. So the next question was, what to do? I woke up, but what to do? Right? Then I saw the bookshelf, which has been biting dust. So many books. I started reading books, so it became my habit. I read book every day. Started reading book. Then because of that, then time is there. I went to cycling. I live near farms in Bangalore, little outside. So it's very nice. So I started cycling. Correct. Then meditation. Then I started going to office very early. And then because of that, I started coming from office. Generally, I am home by 5 p.m. And because of that, I'm able to finish my work by 6:30, maximum 7, have my lunch at dinner at 7 p.m. and then tell 2 stories to my kids around 9 p.m. and 9:15 p.m. I sleep and again wake up at 5 a.m. If you look at this entire cycle, whatever things which I wanted were achieved by doing the one thing. Also the writing part, because I always wanted to write, correct? So this whole journey of writing a book started in July 2018, because in January 2018, I developed this habit, and it is all because of the one thing. Correct? So I hope you have understood the power of this. And this question can be asked in both business and in life. Even for my book, which I had so many topics, but I asked myself a question. If somebody asked me, what is the one thing that has contributed to your success in sales, the maximum, what would you respond? That was the question which came to my mind. And the answer was use case selling, which is the strategy which is unveiled in the book. Correct? So the point is that this question is very powerful. Now how can we use this one thing in sales? So I created 3 categories: client engagement, sales planning, team, and process. So client engagement. So you can ask this question when we go to client meetings. People will say, I have so many things to achieve with the client, 10 things as an outcomes. But imagine if we flip it and if we say, what is the one thing which we want from this client meeting? Then suddenly the drift changes. I actually, whenever I go for any client meetings or even internal meetings, either with my team or with my seniors, I always have this thing. What is the one thing I want from this meeting? Correct. Similarly, the second question, if I have to present only one slide to the client, which slide will I present? So this question, if you ask, here are 40 slides, which slide will you present? Only one slide. You can later ask me in this entire deck also, if I had to present only one slide, which slide I would have presented? I would answer that. So I think this is more of developing that habit, correct? Similarly, if we say sales planning, what is the one thing I can achieve in sales in this quarter such that it will de-risk the entire year? Now, if I have asked this question, I know the main focus is top of the funnel. If we are able to get top of the funnel leads, because in current times, if we get top of the funnel leads, that is more important, and that will help us in the remaining 3 quarters. You can get a different answer. The question is, it is the one thing. It is your one thing. Teams and process. What is the one capability my sales team can develop in Q1 for predictable closures? Now you can reflect on this. I also asked this question and I got an answer: emotional quotient, which is something which will be covered in detail in the masterclass. Developing emotional quotient. The word empathy is being used quite often, but emotional quotient is very deep. It is more than empathy. So for you, that one capability might be something else. Correct? You can reflect on it. Your one thing is your one thing. It is unique to you. Correct? So this is an example of a person whom I met during an interview. I was interviewing him, and I shared this one thing principle with him, and during the interview, before even writing the book, and he used this for closing a deal, and because of which he was featured in the book also. So I'm giving an excerpt from the book. You can read it. I will give you 30 seconds. Kindly read it, and then we will proceed further. Did you see what he did is this? He actually addressed the one thing or each one of them. And because of addressing the one thing, he won the account, correct? Because he has addressed the one thing for each. So I hope you are realizing the power of this one thing. If yes, please say yes. It would be good to hear your views also. Are you able to see the power of one thing? Please type Y or M. Sorry, I'm not seeing the messages. Shivani, I'm not able to see the messages.
One second. Yeah.
I'm seeing.
I think most of them have said yes. Everyone
Okay.
has said yes.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Sorry.
You can access the question section, Amit.
I can, but it is actually in the end. It is. I'm only seeing Kamal Babbar. Yes. I'm not seeing anybody else after that. That's okay. I'll ask from you. Yeah. Okay. So if you see, you can do this post-webinar exercise on one thing. There are many questions which you can create, but this I have given 3. What is the one case study I can present to my client such that remains the same? If I have to show only one slide in client meeting, which one will I show? What is the one thing we need to stop during our sales process? Okay? So you will get these slides from your story. You can reflect on them, please, and please choose this. Correct? Okay, so we'll move to this is very powerful, my friends. Please use them. I'm sharing from both experience and also from experience of implementing these things. So these are very simple stuff. Only thing is implementation is the key. So if you start using what is the one thing, then it will come. Initially, it might be a little overwhelming, but the moment you master it, your brain will become so sharper. I think it is the best exercise for brain. One thing. I do it for everything. So the last one is Sales Sutra, which is most few none, fastest and proven way to become a trusted advisor. So this came from a very interesting experience. Kindly listen to it. When situations are difficult, your brain becomes more sharper. Do you agree? Yes or no? I will repeat. When situations are difficult, we as humans, our brain become very creative and sharper. Do you agree? Yes or no? Type Y or N, please. Okay. You will have to tell me, Shivani. Oh yes, I can. I'm only seeing Kamal Babbar again and again. Yeah. Okay, you will have to tell me, Shivani.
Yeah, I think about 80 participants have responded. Most of them, majority are saying yes.
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Everyone is of the view with a yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Shivani, and to the participants. So let me share my experience. So this is one very prestigious client in insurance brand in India. So I was sitting in Mumbai, and that the context was that this account was in deep red. And basically that meeting was a do or die meeting where the client was already getting served from around a year and was very unhappy. And they have called a meeting with a very high profile CMO, everybody. And basically that meeting was to say that goodbye to my company. Correct? So my company has asked, why don't you go and meet them? So I went along with one of my team members, and we were sitting in a CMO, and the deck, he shared the deck with me. And when I looked at the deck, there were only 90 minutes left for the meeting, and we were in Starbucks. So I thought, this is, if we share this, we will be shown the door immediately. At that point of time, I didn't have anything to tell to my team member. What I did is I asked a question. Now, this is also a one thing question. See how brilliantly it works. I asked the question. I said, if I had to present only one slide to the CMO, which will be of service to him, what would I present? I will repeat the question. If I had to present only one slide to the CMO and his team, which would be of service to him, what would I present? The second part is very important, which would be of service to him. Correct? It is not what is important to me. What is the one thing which is important to him? So with that, as I asked that question, the answer came in the form of most few none, which is also featured in the book, which actually went like this. Now, this one thing can actually transform the way you can become a trusted advisor. Please pay attention. So these were the 3 things which came. Which digital propositions most insurance companies are implementing. Remember, I am presenting to an insurance brand. Which digital propositions few insurance companies are implementing? Which digital propositions none of the insurance companies are implementing? Now, I presented this thing to him. I said, Mr. So-and-so, because of my experience of leading revenue globally, I have a privilege of working with more than 100 insurance brands, because of which I have met them personally, and I have learned something which I'm here to share with you. I've learned from them, and I'm happy to share what I've learned, and I'm open for feedback. And this is what I shared. I said, this is the structure. Which digital proposition most, few, and none? Now, before I proceed further, before I tell you anything about it, if you are that e-commerce person, if you are the CMO of that brand, and if you just see this, nothing else is presented, and this most few, none, what is going in your mind? What would happen? What is going in your mind? Can you tell me? Just put yourself in the shoes when somebody is presenting this kind of structure to you. What is happening in your mind? Can you please type? Shivani, once people type, please, you might have to speak. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. This is very powerful, my friends. If you get it, I will tell you what will happen. Well, if you please type whatever you are feeling, it's okay. Nothing is right or wrong. Participation is more important. And we appreciate your participation. Yeah. Yes.
There are two people right now who have gone with the option of none.
No. My question is, yes, my question is, yeah, none. My question is, if you were a CMO, and again, I understand it might be difficult to respond. Let me again try. If you are a CMO, and if somebody present this, most, few, none, read the sentences. Which digital proposition most insurance companies are doing? Few insurance, none of the insurance companies. Before you proceed further, what kind of thing is happening in your mind? What is going in your mind? What perception you are creating for the speaker? What is going in your mind? Be in that space and tell me. I know I have not told you the details, but I want to test it. I want to check it out, what is going in your mind. I know it is a bit difficult. Please try. See, Shivani, if somebody has responded.
Yes.
Yeah, Shivani.
Yeah, 1 minute. I don't think people have. Yeah, so there is someone who says that I immediately recognize the salesman has come with his homework done, so I would build trust and I would like to believe him.
Very nice. Okay, very nice. Thank you for sharing that. What else, if somebody else has done?
Yeah, Kaushal Agarwal says we need to focus on the most and focus the most and increase the product and solutions availability.
Thanks, Kaushal. Yes.
Nainan Philip says you need to come out with an out-of-the-box solution.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I think, thanks, Shivani. This is good. Basically, most, few, none. Let me tell you what happened. So I told them, of course, I will not share the entire slide. I'll give you another example of most, few, none, what exactly happened. So I told them that, Mr. CMO and your team, I have been talking to these brands, insurance brands, and one of the things I've seen is most of them are implementing a new website, or they're refining their website. And the moment I said that, he started smiling, and entire team started smiling. He said, Amit, we are also doing that. Okay. He said, wow, great. And then I said, I of course gave him some examples in few, and then I shared something on the none part. I said, Mr. CMO, currently, you sell life insurance, your company. I have a 1 crore life insurance, which I have been told is very less for my age. And, so I need to buy more life insurance. So I've been looking out for that. And I went to various websites in India, because I can only buy in India. I went to various life insurance website, and what I did is I put 1 crore, I put my age, and I got a premium. let's say my premium was 14,800, correct? What is interesting is that due to some reason, I couldn't complete it because either my wife called or I was going to another website to check it out. And then I went to that website again. You know, what I realized is that they treated me as a prospect again. I have spent 10 minutes on that website, Mr. CMO. I have filled everything and I went to that website again. And then they recognized me, nothing. They said prospect again. I have to fill that everything, you know. So he was looking at me with eyes open. And I said, Mr. CMO, please pardon me for saying that I went to your brand also and I saw the same happening to me. You know, you also didn't recognize me. And his face was red, absolutely red. And then I said, my apologies that this is certainly possible in our software, correct? My apologies that my team has not been able to do that. I can only promise you, if you feel this is valuable, we can make it live. You know, so now you see the drift of it. You know, the drift of this is, again, there were many bullets. I'm not here to present that exact slide. I am here to tell you the power of this, correct? What happens is when you present most few none, the first thing happens is the person thinks this person is a ustad. In Hindi, we call it ustad, or somebody said thought leader. Somebody said has done his homework. This person knows his stuff. You know, first thing, which is again in line with the trusted advisor thing. Remember, specialist doctor. You know? And then the other thing is what it does. It establishes something very important in human psychology. You know, I'm a student of human mind, so I study it a lot. You know, human psychology is based on contrast. So when you present somebody most few none, immediately, you know, they start going into the none bucket, correct? They want to see, you know, they start comparing themselves with others. Where are we? Are we in the most category or where are we in the none category? Are you understanding this? Please type yes or no. This is very powerful. This one slide can give you so many things. I will show you another example, but please type yes or no. I want to ensure that each one of this understand this most few none. Please type yes or no. Shivani, you can tell me what people have done.
Yes. There are a mixed bunch of answers. A lot of people are also saying no.
Okay, so they're not understood.
Seems to be a little bit of confusion as well.
Sure, no problem. I will give you another example where you will understand. Correct? For now, just remember this, that this most few none, you know, is an ability to establish thought leadership and your deep knowledge in a very provocative way, in a very contrast way. So for the example which I used for CMO, you know, I would have showed him what did I do in last 1 year, all of that, no. But I chose this kind of drift, which I said most insurance brands are doing, few insurance brands are doing, none of the insurance brands are doing. So when I present like this, a person wants to know more. The human psychology is tell me something I don't know, tell me what others are doing. You know, I will repeat, human psychology is tell me something I don't know, which is the insight part. And then other is tell me what others are doing, because we always want to compare. When you present in this way, both are getting addressed. Because when you say most and few, it is comparing what others are doing. And what you are saying, none, all of this you are talking about the insight. Tell me something I don't know. Correct? So that example of myself going to the home page and the home page experience not getting personalized across various insurance brands, that was an insight because none of them were doing it. Okay? Now let me show you this in another example which will make it clear. So I have done most few none for B2B lead generation. So B2B lead generation is that demand generation. So I've said most few none, and none is also very few, because just to be safe we can say very few. And I've created 4 categories: DB preparation, channels, new age tools and concepts, and events. Across these 4 categories we will do this. So let's do this. Most companies, what practices, what lead generation practices most companies are implementing? DB preparation, they are doing it by their own research or thereby external agency. Channels, outbound cold calling, website lead forms, email campaigns. New age tool concept, people are using that email finders. Events, most of the companies were using physical events. Now it is not possible. Right? Now let's look at few. Few of the companies are using Discover or Zoom Info. These are paid software because it requires money. Not everybody does that. Few of the companies are also running paid campaigns on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has paid campaigns. Again, it requires, a lot of money. Social selling, this is a concept which everybody knows, yet people either have not been formally trained on it. Therefore, only few of them are doing. In fact, this can go into very few category also. Since a lot of us are active on social selling, I'm putting it in few. Still, the definition of social selling is not being on LinkedIn. Account-based marketing, most of us know about it, but very few, even large companies don't practice ABM, which is very targeted message at an account level and within account at a stakeholder level. Correct? If you have thousands of accounts doing and you have 3 stakeholders in each, imagine 3,000 messages. That kind of ABM, very few people, companies do. And physical events self-curated, meaning companies can attend events from others, but can they create their own events? Currently, this is not possible anyhow. Now, when we go to very few or none, so this is DB refresh and sync up with LinkedIn. Everything through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is considered to be the largest database of B2B buyers. So why are we not using it properly? And why are we not refreshing it from there? Similarly, automating connections on LinkedIn. Right now, if you want to reach out to your buyers, you have to send message one-to-one for connections. But there are tools available now. There is one tool called DuckSoup, where you can send connection requests automatically on LinkedIn. Correct? Similarly, in terms of campaigns, if you have to send messages on LinkedIn, you have to do one-to-one. But if suppose you have to send 500 messages, it is very time consuming. So you can use again DuckSoup or several other tools which can do personalized campaigns on LinkedIn. Similarly, video for prospecting. Now, this is very relevant in the current remote selling environment where there are tools like Vidyard, there are tools like Loom, which are free, where you can create videos which can be created directly by a plugin, Chrome plugin. You don't need to go to for marketing. What will video do? It will increase engagement. When you send that video to any prospect or a customer, you are bringing a human element to it because anyhow you can't meet physically. And similarly, online events like branding and creating pull, like what is happening right now, LinkedIn Live, Masterclass, webinars. So this is an example of most few, very few, none. Correct? I hope you are clear on this now of B2B lead generation. Do you see just in one slide, I have presented the B2B lead generation in most few, none. Please type yes or no if this is clear now. Shivani?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yes.
The majority is saying yes, it's clear.
Yes, absolutely. So you can again, go through this material, which when your story shares. But this example, if you reflect on it again and again, that any area which you pick, so one of the exercise for so the question in what other ways can you use most few none framework? Can you type quickly in what other ways can you use most few none framework? I have given you 2 examples. This can be used in life also. This can be used for anything. The drift of my book has been that sales is a life skill. It is not a profession. It's a life skill. We are selling all the time. Right now also I'm selling because we are always selling either a product or a service or an idea. It is a life skill, most profound life skill. So most few none can be used in many ways. Can you guess what ways it can be used? Could you please type?
There are answers like counseling for operations, product development, roadmap, salesman skills.
Yes, very nice.
Hiring purposes.
Yes, very nice.
Performance management.
Yes, brilliant. I mean, this is an absolutely, brilliant audience, Shivani, Anag, and your story team. I'm so glad, they are participating in their daily routine, mentoring. Brilliant. I can see that. Feature analysis in training. Yes. It can also be used for pitching yourself. You can use it for pitching yourself. Whether you are going for an interview It can be used for funding. It can be used for funding. Don't present tons of slides. Present most few none. In one slide, you will craft that messaging, that why your proposition resonates. When I asked this question to IIM Kozhikode, that they were doing in placement season, they said we can use it also for selecting companies, correct? Which companies they need to participate. This is a brilliant structure, correct? It can be used for pitching products. So this is an exercise. Please use most few none framework for your product or services you are selling. This you can do after. I can guarantee you, if done nicely, it will mesmerize people. The only thing is, if done badly, other reverse will happen. But I think you will be the best judge, because you will not take it if it is done badly. You will not take it to the audience. You have to feel it that this is done. Therefore, remember, we talked about trusted advisor. You have to be subject matter expert, specialist doctor. You have to be a subject matter expert in that area. And extraordinary communicator. Most few none brings the extraordinary communication piece, because it is making communication easier. You still have to fill it. You have to do research, correct? Are you with me? Are you getting it? Okay. So with this, we have covered the 3 sutras: metaphor, become a persuasion powerhouse, magic of one thing in sales, and most few none, fastest and proven way to become a trusted advisor. Now it's time for the third poll, which is, among the 3 sales sutras, if you have to pick one sutra which you will implement immediately, all 3 are important. I wish that you implement all 3, since we all know power of one thing. If you have to pick one of them, which one would you pick and you will implement immediately? Now, Shivani, kindly. Yeah, thank you, Shivani.
Yes.
One thing. Oh, so one thing and most few none, 16%, 41%, and 43%. So it's a very close choice. The point is, the one sutra is your sutra. Whatever has resonated the most to you, that is your sutra. So please use that. This is just for broader poll. However, whatever you have chosen, we are in the age of personalization. So whatever you have chosen, that is what is most relevant for you. Thank you for responding. So there are some resources. I would highly recommend that all 3 of them are very powerful. Please do use them. Of course, you implement the one sutra which you have chosen immediately. With that, there are some resources. Shivani, I would request you to copy paste them into the Q&A tab, so that the team can use it.
So Amit, I'm putting all these resources in the chat section, so the participants can have access to it. That is, of course, Amit's LinkedIn profile. So in case you do want to get in touch with him for more, please do feel free to do that. Also sharing his book that Amit has authored, which is called The Ultimate Sales Accelerator. It's available on Amazon as well. So that is something that you can, of course, read for more content and knowledge on increasing sales effectiveness. Also sharing some resources from Amit's sales portal that he runs. It's called salespreneur.co. So there you go. That's the link to the website. It's on your chat screen. I hope all of you can see it. There are 2 videos. One is sales. And the other one is on how you can be a good salespreneur.
Yes. Thanks, Shivani. With that, we are open for Q&A, Shivani. If there are specific questions, I will need, before we end the session, I will need 1 minute, because I have one wish for participants. So right now it is Q&A. I'm open for questions if there are any.
Right. So we'll just give the participants a few moments to type in their questions in the
Sure.
Q&A section, please.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, let's give them a 1 minute something and let them type and then we'll begin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amit, if you can hear me, there are a few questions that have come in. Would you like me to take you through the questions?
Shivani, so yeah, you can. Okay.
I can read out a few questions to you.
Yes, yes. Okay, the question is, which would be the one slide you would show to the audience? This one, the slide would have been the most fun. The slide with the this B2B sales lead generation, because that one slide, would have covered the aspect of the concept of trusted advisor, which is the most important, and extraordinary communicator. That specialist doctor, which I use the word specialist doctor, that is the one slide which communicates it very easily. You have to use less content and you have to use structured format and you need to be very knowledgeable in that area. So I would have used that. So remaining, you can pick the questions, Shivani, and please go ahead. Yeah.
So I think there is one question on how do you deal with client rejections?
Yeah, so I think this is the piece which is covered detail in the master class where we talk about emotional quotient. But fundamentally, how do we handle rejection? First of all, there is a mindset. There is a mindset in sales where in the innate nature of sales function is that handling rejections has to come naturally. So how will it come? Is in terms of what are you thinking about it? So, one of the sentences which I use with my team and with myself, that you might get 9 rejections in a day, in life also, not only in sales. Find that one where you will get a yes. Correct? So look at the drift of it. Correct? When the drift of it is about finding that one, you are focusing on finding that one, not on the rejection. Suppose I've called somebody or you have called somebody, Sabi said it's not a good time. Okay, I have to find the one who will say yes, because the mind is working on the positive outcome on it rather than brooding on the negative outcome. The other aspects of it is, again, I would highly recommend, the master class, but other aspects of it is, embracing uncomfort. So our minds get trained. So for example, let's say, reflect on this question. What is the most difficult thing you have done? What is the most difficult thing? If we develop that ability where we are doing things which we don't like, for example, let me share an experience. I went to Vipassana meditation in 2018. Vipassana meditation is 10 days, actually almost 12 days, silence, and from morning 4:30 a.m. to around 9 p.m. you are only meditating almost 12 hours. Correct? That means in 10 days we meditate for around 110 hours of meditation. Correct? And no talking, noble silence. Phone is not with you. Everything is taken from you. You are a number. You are a number. Just imagine that situation. So I went there because I wanted to experience it. Because I thought, how is it possible for a human to be silent for 10 days? 10 days. And then several other things I didn't even know, that you can't talk, you can't have pencil, nothing is there. So it's a very difficult situation. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody has to go to Vipassana. Of course, it is very nice. My point is, we have to do things which we don't like, which are very difficult. When we start doing those things, our mind gets conditioned. Minds get conditioned. So rejection doesn't happen. Correct? If suppose bonus is not coming on the time, problem, it is also a sale. If the client is not picking the phone, it is also everything is a sale. Everything is a sale. If it is not happening, one is how you are talking to your mind, which is, I have to find the 10th one. So which brings positivity. The second is developing your muscles, the sales muscles, the mind muscles, which is doing things which are very difficult. When you do things which are very difficult, then automatically these things don't bother you. It's like saying that, when you start weightlifting, you might be able to lift 10 kgs, 20 kgs. Somebody gives you a weight of, 50 kgs, your hands will shiver. will not be able to hit. So it's like that rejection. But then if you are able to, practice, and at time after 2 months, 3 months, you have increased your weights. So your body has become, ready. You can take 50 kgs, 70 kgs. That 50, 70 kgs is nothing but rejection. Thank you. So you can go ahead, Shivani, to the other question.
Well put, Amit. Right, very well put there. Thanks for answering that. There is a question from R. Krishna Rai. He says, how do you manage when competition is cutthroat and they are offering very low prices that the competitors offer? So how do you manage selling with this kind of competition?
Yeah, so as I said, first of all, remember the 4 quadrants which we talked about. You have to look at which quadrant your product is in. Remember complexity of biodynamics, complexity of product. So you have to see that, because based on that the sales strategy changes. Right? Then let's say if we talk about, let's say the quadrant is decided and then pricing is there. So pricing pressures are always there. So I think this is what I have seen is, normally when people say, there are 2 elements. One is the sales excellence, another is product excellence. If you assume that quadrant as low, high, assume four quadrants of 2x2 matrix. You have to first infer yourself very honestly, self-acknowledgement. In which quadrant are you? Sales excellence, rate yourself on a scale of 10. And if you can give yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. And in product excellence, rate yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Based on that, you will be in one particular quadrant, because low, high will create 4 quadrants. So first is acknowledging yourself. The reason I'm mentioning this is, most of the time people come to solution before even understanding internally. What is the problem? Is the problem in the sales? Is the problem in the product? Is the problem in both? Where it is? Suppose the problem is positioning the product, then it will come in product excellence. Suppose it is the problem is that you don't have sharper narratives. Your sales team is not trained enough to talk like TED Talk speakers. Then it is sales excellence. So first is that. The second part of this is, I think, as I said, in today's world, as sales owners, by assuming that the product is good, as sales owners, we have to be very skilled in creating narratives. So what does that mean? Again, specialist doctor. The person has to have deep expertise in that subject area. Deep expertise. This is one area I will keep repeating, because typically people think product managers are supposed to have deep expertise. They may have, the salesperson, new age salesperson needs to have. And he or she needs to be like Steve Jobs, correct? Like Steve Jobs, extraordinary communicator and extraordinary knowledge of that area. May not be the product manager. Now, once you develop that skill, your conversion rate will increase. I'm not saying that it will become 100%, but your ability to talk to people and influence them, because first thing you did is that you said, okay, where is the problem? Is it in sales or is it in product? Is it in both? Then you said, okay, I have to now change myself. On sales excellence, am I like Steve Jobs? Am I like specialist doctor? And for that, I think developing your skills in sales, reading books, attending courses, crafting narratives, things like, if you have to present one slide which is valuable to that particular client which you are meeting, can you present in a way that the person will be mesmerized? I can tell you, if you achieve that, what will happen is that person will like you the more. Because look at it, if all products are looking similar, then the differentiator is not the product, the differentiator is the salesperson. This is a very profound one-liner. When all products are looking similar, then the differentiator or the competitive advantage is the salesperson. For that, the person has to develop himself or herself very deeply. That I would recommend. And for that, go to the courses, read books, implement these structures, that will help. Yeah, go ahead, Shivani.
That's very interesting, Amit, that you can in fact just build on your personality as well, and gain a superior performance over the product itself to
Yes.
make that sale. So that's a very interesting take on being a sales professional. Another
Yes.
question coming in from Ganesh Subramanian. He
Yeah.
asks, out of these 3 sutras, how do we track a salesperson's capability and decide on how to retrain them?
Yeah. So actually, this the one sutra among the 3 is just a structure for priority, that what is the one thing, because my whole focus is in implementation. Even my book, if you go to Amazon and check the reviews, the whole thing is that it is very focused on implementation. There's nothing academic knowledge about it. It is, everything is implementation. So what I have what I share with people is, all of these are structures. So one thing is a structure, most few none is a structure, metaphor is structure, correct? Now, the reason I say that you pick one immediately is that it will help you in implementation, correct? So suppose, for example, you pick metaphor, for example. Now, the moment you start using that metaphor, everything, you might have noticed, even in this discussion, I have used so many metaphors and I have not thought about them. Correct? Like I just to reflect, I was using a metaphor of that, that person lifting weights. I didn't think about it. Steve Jobs, I didn't think about it. Correct? Now, my point is, once you develop your muscle, it's like practicing. So all of them are very important. Of course, the book provides the profound structure called use case selling, which requires 3 full days of training. Therefore, it can't be done here. But the book provides it in the simpler book format. Having said that, I would certainly recommend that don't focus on too many things. Pick the area which you connect most. Correct? If you connect with metaphor, pick it up. When you master that area, mastery is the skill. Mastery is the skill. When somebody looks at somebody, oh, this person is master of this. He's Steve Jobs of this. He's Amitabh Bachchan of this. He's Warren Buffett of that craft. That should be the thing. So somebody can say, you are Warren Buffett of one thing. You are Warren Buffett of most few none. For that, we have to start. So I would say, lot of time, I will, Gita mein likha hai na, कि भाई कर्म पे फोकस करो, करेक्ट, आउटकम पे फोकस मत करो. तो कॉर्पोरेट लाइफ में वही फंडामेंटली वो प्रॉब्लम है मेरे हिसाब से, और पर्सनल लाइफ में भी ज्यादातर हम सब लोग वी फोकस ऑन आउटकम्स. My submission, and it is written in scriptures, we have to focus on effort, not on outcomes. Effort, if done in the right spirit, outcomes will come. And Gita also says that. Correct? So if we just pick those 3 sutras, either implement 3. If you want one, pick one. If you want to read the book, implement one thing from the book, which is use case selling. Then I think it will come, rather than focusing on results. Our brain is focused on results. If we just change that habit of focusing on effort, that will help us a lot. It will also make us kinder to ourselves and to the other people. Otherwise, sometimes we can be very, very ruthless about results. Whereas when we focus on efforts, then according to my experience and what I have seen and what scriptures also say, efforts directly proportional to results.
Sure. Okay, I think we have time for 2-3 more questions. There's a question from Amit Bateja, who says he wants to understand the right approach for building sales prospects and for prospecting in these tough times, these challenging times where we are in a lockdown. He says that his company has launched a relief program for clients where we proposed 6 months free service with no cost, but essentially he wants to understand how to build sales prospects in these tough times.
Yeah, so very nice question, Amit. So basically, there is if you look at this resource, it's a spirit of sales. So once you watch this video, it'll come also on my last slide. I don't want to bring it earlier, but I'll still answer your question. See, basically, sales has a very negative connotation attached to it, as you guys will agree with me. When you look at sales, it comes at pushy, sleazy. A lot of research also has been done. People who are mean, used car salesmen, correct? I have a different drift to it. My drift to sales is, as she said, sales is social entrepreneurship. salesperson is a social entrepreneur, because of that person, economic value is coming. Imagine if sale is not happening right now. You don't have to imagine, it is happening right now, that sales are not happening in the world because of ABC reason. Entire economy is down, correct? Sales is social entrepreneurship. So from that perspective, the most important element is serve. The word service mindset, correct? It is quite counterintuitive. Sales means targets, goals, this, pressure, boss shouting, all of those things are there. Right? So the culture is there, it can't change in one day. Correct? Therefore, we require more evangelization. Therefore, we require platforms like your story who are helping us evangelize this. Where sales, according to me, is an act of service. It is an act of service. It was always an act of service. Right now, in current times, it is more act of service. When we serve, what is the meaning of service? The fundamental of service is you don't accept anything in return. It is very counterintuitive. The fundamental of service is you don't expect anything in return. Now you may say, what is this? I'm selling, I don't expect anything in return. I have to expect sales. It will happen. But in current times, if you are sending somebody, okay, I want to book an order with you, I want to have a meeting with you, people will say what kind of person this is. Of course, with different segments, it will be different. Right? Not everybody will. But if you have a drift that Mr. So-and-so, I have analyzed this thing in retail space or in this space, and I have come out with this 10 use cases or 10 scenarios which can be of service to your brand. And by the way, 10 other brands have used this. I am happy to share this with you on an email. And by the way, if you feel it would be helpful, I am happy to have 15 minutes conversation with you. This is the one. What is this? You have not asked that. Your drift is service mindset. You are in a giving model, not taking model. You are not saying, give me a meeting and I will tell you. This is a normal drift of sales, which is that I want to take, give me meeting, give me dhanda, give me. Whereas the drift has to be, I'm here to serve. And when you serve, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. वो तो साइंस का लॉ है, correct? वो अपने आप हो जाता है. But the drift has to be service mindset. So Amit, whatever you are doing, if you please have that thing that what can I share with my client A, B, C, or what can I share with my segment of these customers, wherever you are personalizing, which is of deep value to them, in this current times. And you don't expect anything other than, being of service to them. You will build rapport with them, Amit. You will build rapport. And when time comes, they will come to you. They will come to you. Take it in writing from me. They will come to you. So that Shraddha, Sabri, and Sadhana, those are the three principles which I say. Shraddha is faith. We talked about the other S, which is the Sabri, which is the service part. Seva. Seva is also S. It is not coincidental that all of these words start with an S. Seva, Shraddha, Sabri, Sadhana, sales. But the way it has not been structured like that. It has been ulta. It has been, very aggressive, very this thing. If we do it in this way, where patience is there, service mindset is there, and sadhana, which is the disciplined action, you are always acting with patience, which is sabri, and with service mindset. Yes. Anything else?
There are multiple questions on how would you define a buyer dynamic, and Veer has also asked what is a buyer dynamic within those 4 quadrants, if you next buyer dynamic again.
So see, complexity of buyer dynamic is very simple, which means one simple way to look at it is the number of people you have to, number of people you have to interface. For example, in the 4th quadrant, which is complexity high and both complexity high, the research shows that unless you have met 7 people, sale will not happen. Which means, like, if you are in enterprise sales, complex enterprise sales, where up till 2 months before, everybody physical meetings were required. Right now it is not possible. But high ticket sales, complex product, complex buyer dynamics. Complex buyer dynamics, one means is one person can't take a call. Multiple people are involved in it to take a call. The ticket size is higher. That is another element of buyer dynamics. So number of people and ticket size are 2 elements of buyer dynamic. The other is also procurement process. Is this again, it is tied to the ticket size. If it is something big, the buyer dynamics change, the procurement is involved. In several other cases, procurement is not involved. So I hope this has given you some views on what complexity of buyer dynamic is.
Sure. There's another question whereby they say that the product that they are selling is essentially a push product.
Yeah.
But how do you increase your sales effectiveness to make it into a pull product?
Brilliant. Who asked this question?
It's actually from an anonymous attendee.
Okay.
So,
no, brilliant. Again, this will be covered a lot in the master class. I'm speaking, you guys can read through the master class, which is happening on 23rd May, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I think Shivani will talk more about it. But let me give you a brief drift of it. So, this concept of push and pull, replace the word push. And I'm telling you, please do that. It will make the word push. What happens? What is the frequency of the word push? The frequency of the word push is pressure. Yes or no? When you say push somebody, there is aggression. Correct? Yes or no? Please type yes or no. If you the frequency of the word push is aggression. So let us change that word to evangelize. When we use, I am also in that space, where I am in the space of enterprise sales, high ticket, complex, fourth quadrant. Correct? People will not come to website and download a software, or it's not possible in our kind of software. I use the word, I tell my team, we have to be evangelist. We have to be evangelist. Service mindset, evangelist. For that, you have to be chamatkari purush or stri in your area, that specialist doctor, that deep knowledge. If you go, that person is clapping virtually. What is happening? Well, who has come? Who has come for me to present? Where was this person? I'm telling you, that level of skill. Some of this you might think that what is this? But this, if you reflect on it, I have worked in very difficult startups. I can't give details in a public forum, but I've worked, and the thing which has made me, my team successful, style of selling. Because in startups sometimes, large companies already have a product. Startups might be only in a MVP stage. Still, how do you sell? That is the reason the epic part comes in. Epic, because it is improbable. And it happens, first off, because of self-belief of the salesperson and the readiness of the salesperson. Are you a specialist doctor? And for that, evangelization, service mindset. I am not here. I've used this thing in many clients. I used to say, I'm here to share what other brands in dash space, dash you can put any industry, dash space are doing and creating value for their customers. I'm here to share this with you. I hope this is of service to you. I'm telling you, nobody says no to that. When you are sharing, tell me something I don't know. Tell me what others are doing. Your drift is especially service mindset, evangelist, and you are sharing something very insightful. Then what happens? Automatically, you become a magnet. Even the product is similar. You are a superlative salesperson. But the buyer will come to you. Correct? So use the word evangelist, and what will happen is, through the evangelism, pull will be created. Over time, what will happen is, over time, people will start coming to you. That, okay, I have heard this, I have seen this, it will come. So I think that is the way I would recommend. Please replace push with the word evangelize. Use service mindset, use giving mindset, develop that extraordinary capability within yourself. Be a specialist doctor. If you do all of these things, you will be the competitive advantage your company has. Your boss will tell you, if you say, sir, or you say, Mr. CEO, I am looking for a differentiator, the day he or she tells you, you are our differentiator. You are our differentiator, Amit, or whatever the names, you are a differentiator. I think who asked this question? Who asked this question, Shivani?
It was an anonymous question, but
Okay.
There's also a question from Ganesh saying that, if the sales prospect is not interested in your product, there's no need, then how do you still pitch it?
So then this is Mount Everest of needs will be covered in masterclass, because that's this whole concept of decoding unknown needs. If you sell what people need, then you will always be in a commodity area. Therefore, I told, product excellence, sales excellence. So as a salesperson, you have to evaluate whether your product, where it is in product excellence, which quadrant it is. Is it in lower quadrant? If you are selling something which is lower product excellence, you will never create scalable growth. You might create 5-10 deals because of sales brilliance, but scalable growth will not happen. Therefore, according to me, the most important person, I have worked in all functions in last 22 years. To a chief revenue officer, I've done all functions hands-on. The most important person, who if done correctly, is the salesperson, but not the person the way it was perceived. The person which I am evangelizing, the person who is, who has so much knowledge. I tell my team also, it is McKinsey in thinking and Accenture in execution. McKinsey in strategy. A good salesperson is McKinsey in strategy and Accenture in execution. This is also a metaphor. So once you develop this, right now the need is to develop yourself a lot of training, lot of practice. Only when you become like Steve Jobs or like specialist doctors, and you will see the improvements as you become. The way you start looking at things will change. Correct? The confidence level will increase. Correct? So I think these are the things which will help. And of course, this particular topic will further help. Yeah? Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Amit. I think we'll wrap it up right now.
Sure.
There are a couple of questions which we can take up on the Academy at YS email as well. I'm just sharing some more resources. On the chat section, we've got a WhatsApp group. So for all the participants and attendees and all of you who are interested in knowing more about YS Academy and the education initiative that we run in terms of these masterclasses and webinars, we will keep you updated on the upcoming sessions. So do join that WhatsApp group to get more information. And of course, as Amit highlighted, we will have another masterclass with Amit on the very similar topic. Here's a sneak peek of the aspects that will be covered. It will affect, largely talk about increasing and improving sales effectiveness. It will be held via Zoom on the 23rd of May. So that is next Saturday between 4 to 7 p.m. So that's for about 3 hours. Again, as I said, we have many more topical webinars as such lined up. So ensure that you join that WhatsApp group. It's on the chat section. Access that link and you will get more information on that. With that, Amit, I think you have some closing comments and a wish for all your panelists. So please take it.
Correct. So thank you. Thank you, Shivani. My wish for you, thank you for joining this call and for being such a wonderful audience, where you have participated. Before we end this session, I hope, a lot of you join the master class. Before we end this session, what is my wish for you? And my wish for you is this: may you harness the true spirit of sales. And what is the meaning of spirit of sales? This is the thing which I got in Vipassana meditation when I was writing the epilogue of my book. Epilogue is the last chapter of the book. And I was asking a question, what is the meaning of the word sales? And this is what came in Vipassana meditation, which is there in the book also. The words S, serve, authenticity, love, expertise, and smile. So serve with authenticity, love, expertise, and smile. And if you do that, epic sales is guaranteed. With that, best wishes to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all the participants. Yeah, thank you to all the participants. Amit, if you can move on to that last slide, just another announcement on some of the courses that we have at YS Academy. So there you go. We do have link course at a subsidized rate for all of you who have attended. This again is of course for all the participants of this particular webinar. So you can get a bundled price for both the startup course as well as the funding course, or you can buy them individually, and the discounted price of course is just for the participants of this particular webinar. So it will be open now for purchase if any of you are interested, and of course you can continue to attend all these live sessions that we have. These are of course good times to catch up on critical issues like this, if you are looking to take that entrepreneurship or startup plunge as well. Thank you very much again to all those who attended. Thank you, Amit, so much for your time, and have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.